Did you notice that the Deep seems to have a strange obsession with octopuses in The Boys? In the series, his girlfriend is an octopus named Ambrosius. While he is with Ambrosius, he is also seen getting close to another octopus named Sage. So why does he feel such a strong connection to octopuses? First, it all started when he was a child. The Deep discovered his powers around the age of 9, when he realized he could communicate with marine life. To him, the animals of the ocean became companions. But when he joined the Seven, his life changed. Because of his gills and his unusual appearance, many people treated him as the weakest member of the team. Homelander even once forced him to eat one of his own marine friends. Second, his situation became even worse later. After being sent to Sandusky and going through a divorce, the Deep became very insecure in his relationships with people. But octopuses never judged him or mocked his gills. Finally, Ambrosius once tried to convince him to stand up to Homelander, but the Deep didn't have the courage. In the middle of the chaos, he accidentally broke the tank, and Ambrosius died outside the water. Since then, the Deep has lived with that guilt.
Did you notice something strange in The Boys? Homelander is clearly stronger than Soldier Boy, yet he still seems afraid of him. At first, this doesn't make sense. When Soldier Boy fought with Butcher, they still couldn't trap Homelander. In a pure one-on-one fight, Soldier Boy isn't stronger. So why is Homelander scared? First, the real reason is psychological. The first time they met, Soldier Boy called Homelander a disappointing weakling, and Homelander's biggest weakness has always been his fragile ego. He needs admiration to feel powerful. The moment someone looks down on him, his confidence starts to crack. Second, there is an emotional layer. Soldier Boy isn't just another enemy. He is technically Homelander's father. That connection creates a mix of resentment and a desperate need for approval. Finally, Soldier Boy has one dangerous ability. His energy blast can remove superpowers. For someone like Homelander, who has spent his life believing he is untouchable, the idea of becoming a normal human is terrifying. So Homelander isn't just afraid of Soldier Boy, he's afraid of losing the one thing that defines him, his power. Did you know who Stormfront really is? When Sage mentions Stormfront in front of Soldier Boy, his reaction suddenly changes. At first, Soldier Boy casually asks who Stormfront is, but the moment Sage reveals she was once called Liberty, his expression freezes for a second, and Homelander immediately notices it. Soldier Boy and Liberty clearly had a past. Back in Season 3, Soldier Boy mentioned he once had a relationship with a soup named Liberty. That confirms their connection goes back decades. Second, this connection might explain something bigger. Many fans believe Stormfront could be Homelander's biological mother. Think about Homelander's powers. He can fly, which Soldier Boy cannot do. If his mother were a normal human, that ability would be difficult to explain. Finally, both Soldier Boy and Stormfront were among the rare few who survived the original Compound 5 experiments. For Vought, creating the ultimate superhuman by combining two powerful bloodlines would make perfect sense. In the comics, Homelander is actually a clone of Stormfront. The show may have adapted this idea into a parent-child relationship instead. What do you think? Do you know how to defeat Homelander? You cannot survive a fair fight with him, so the only option is to fight dirty. First, bullets and missiles cannot hurt him, let alone ordinary weapons. So if you want to defeat Homelander, you must completely abandon traditional weapons. Homelander's real weakness lies in his psychology. He is extremely narcissistic and obsessed with admiration. If you damage his public image and lower his public approval, his mental defenses begin to collapse and he can fall into emotional instability. Second, take away his milk. Because he grew up without a mother, Homelander developed a deep attachment to milk. Whoever provides it can easily influence him. This is exactly what Firecracker did. Finally, when his attention is distracted by milk, let Soldier Boy release his energy blast to temporarily remove Homelander's powers. Once Homelander loses his abilities, he is no longer the unstoppable god people fear. At that point, defeating him becomes much easier. So what do you think? Would these methods actually work?
Do you know what Butcher's real power actually is? At the end of season 4, tentacles grow out of Butcher's body. They can tear people apart and even throw a car across the street, allowing Butcher to fight Supes on equal terms. Many people think this is a new superpower he gained, but in reality, Butcher never truly had powers. Those tentacles are actually a sign of his cancer. Like many others, Butcher relied on Compound V to gain temporary abilities, but unlike most, Butcher has brain cancer. When Compound 5 interacts with cancer cells, it can create something that behaves like a separate living organism. This idea is confirmed in the spin-off The Boys Diabolical. In one story, a man tries to use Compound V to cure his wife's cancer. Instead of saving her, the V merges with the cancer and forms a monster inside her body. And that is essentially what is happening to Butcher. Butcher never gained powers of his own. Instead, a parasitic entity lives inside him, one that seems to have its own consciousness. In a way, it feels like a version of Venom inside the world of the boys. So what do you think?